In my opinion, AI will have a very, very profound effect on additive manufacturing. My name is Glyn Fletcher. I am the president of EOS North America. Well, I believe that our primary focus is going to be on the industrialization and scalability of additive manufacturing. We have evolved from, well, if I go back, we have been in business for over 35 years. The first 25 of those years was a fairly slow evolution. We're now seeing a lot of accelerated growth in industries like the space industry, aerospace, and recently, of course, the defense industry. So those industries are very demanding. Typically, there's a lot of regulation, and we work very hard to provide those customers with an industrial scale solution. So that has to work in conjunction with their already established processes, but we're finding ways of integrating and providing added value to the entire manufacturing value stream for those kind of organizations. Well, one of the things that I think is really important, well, actually, and it's not one, but it leads to the same place. We talk a lot about total cost of ownership and how to drive that down, TCO. Overall equipment efficiency, OEE, so sorry for all the acronyms, but these all lead finally to this issue of cost per part and being able to produce not only cool things, but things that are really cost effective as well. I think there will always be an element of coolness that is associated to additive manufacturing, and that's good, but it needs to be integrated. It needs to be, we have talked, I think, for too long about the difference between additive manufacturing and subtractive manufacturing, or the traditional way of making things. And I think for me, it's really now a question of finding ways of integrating. So instead of having this sort of adversarial relationship with other manufacturing techniques, it starts to be more complementary. And to do that, then we have to fit in. We have to find ways of fitting in to their status quo, because their status quo is not going to fit into our status quo. We are still quite a small part of the manufacturing environment. So, yeah, we can be as cool as you like, but if nobody wants to buy our cool products, then it's not going to get us very far. I believe we are now at an inflection point. There has been a lot of experimentation with additive manufacturing. There's been a lot of R&D. There's been a lot of caution associated to its deployment. But now what we are seeing is a lot of very large organizations, government entities, as well as large OEMs and tier one suppliers who have committed to additive manufacturing. And when they commit, especially if these organizations are in heavily regulated industries, there is no turning back. So we have created a core of very committed customers that are now helping us to prove to those less committed customers that additive manufacturing is a scalable industrial process. Well, I think I always come back to the same example. We're here at Rapid, it's a great show, but everybody here is additively oriented. I think the true test is when you go to a trade show like IMTS, where Rapid has a fairly small pavilion in a very large exhibition. The IMTS, the machine tool show in Chicago, is regarded as, if not the largest, one of the largest manufacturing shows in the world. And I think that puts things into perspective. In our pavilion, there may be, typically 70 or 80 organizations who are exhibiting in an exhibit hall that contains maybe 2,000 other exhibitors of a traditional nature. And our job as an industry is to prove to the 1,920 that are not in the additive pavilion that they or to prove to their customers that we are a viable alternative to those traditional ways of making things. In the conclusion, customers are pragmatic. They have to have some value. And yeah, we can talk about the fact that we can integrate and create a single part from a series of assemblies. We can talk about lightweighting. We can talk about rapid prototyping. We can talk about inventory control, supply chain resilience, distributed manufacturing, all of those things. But in the end, whatever it is, it has to connect to the customer. So if we have to drive the price down of that part, then that's one option for us, of course. And it's always got to be cost competitive. But I guess there are a lot of elements that come into that equation of cost competitiveness, and we have to be able to understand all of those, but connect with the customer on his terms, not on our terms. AI, in my opinion, and there's a lot of other opinions, but in my opinion, AI will have a very, very profound effect on additive manufacturing. And I think AI will give additive manufacturing a profound advantage as well, because if you think about additive, more than any other manufacturing technique, particularly in what we would describe as a sort of metal cutting or injection molding kind of environment, it's a very digital process. And that ability then to integrate into artificial intelligence using that digital advantage, I think will make a huge difference. I attended the NVIDIA 3-day event in San Jose recently, and I went, I guess, with a degree of skepticism, but I came away as a convert. With AI, I think I said it in my keynote, those organizations that master AI will master those organizations that don't.
Anything else you'd like to share?
No, I'm just happy to be here. I always enjoy being at trade shows. Trade shows uniquely give us an opportunity not only to allow our customers to compare us directly against our competitors, so we have to always be on our best behavior and do our job at the highest level of professionalism, but it's also a place where we will come into contact with potential customers we did not know, that were not on our database, that came here with maybe a specific application in mind, or came just from a position of curiosity. But we have a very sophisticated customer relationship management software, and it contains a lot of customers, but at a trade show, there's always somebody that you didn't know that has the potential to be a significant customer in the future.